Today we're diving into the relentless grip of nature on one of the world's biggest countries. China is getting hammered by floods and landslides that are straight up rewriting the landscape. Entire villages have morphed into sprawling lakes, birds are dropping from the sky frozen solid and littering the roads, and hillsides are giving way, swallowing homes whole. It's a raw reminder of just how small we are against Mother Nature's fury. Fast forward to the morning of October 24th in Baise, a city tucked inside the Guangxi-Zhuang Autonomous Region. This isn't a quick-hit storm. We're staring down one of the longest flood sieges on record. It's been almost a full month and the water still hasn't backed off. Neighborhoods sit under murky, contaminated soup. 2- and 3-story homes peek out with nothing but their rooftops, like sad little islands. Thousands of families are improvising life literally on top of their houses. Take 54-year-old Li Keong from Jingxi County. She told reporters, "We've been camped on the rooftop for nearly 4 weeks. The ground floor is gone. Everything we own is wrecked. Every single morning I paddle a tiny boat to ferry my kid to a pop-up school. A couple more days of rain and we're out of options." Picture this. Kids in bright yellow raincoats rowing themselves to class or balancing across wobbly plank bridges. Grown men scrubbing off in water the color of pea soup. Grandparents perched on chimney edges, staring at a sea that used to be their street. Those images are the postcard of Guangxi's nightmare this year. Itzai Global reports villages around Baise have been cut off since late September. Even with the government rolling out industrial pumps, floating platforms, and earth movers the size of houses, the floodwater refuses to budge completely. Roads are gone, supply lines severed, and the cleanup feels like bailing out the ocean with a teaspoon. That's the latest from the front lines. Nature isn't letting up, and neither are the people fighting to hold on. You wouldn't believe it, but in parts of southern China, the flooding isn't just coming from the sky, it's rising straight out of the ground. This region sits on what's known as karst terrain, a landscape full of caves, underground rivers, and sinkholes. That means when heavy rain hits, the water doesn't just stay above ground, it forces its way back up from below. Experts say the situation is bizarre. Groundwater is surging upward, while surface water has nowhere to drain. Even after the rain stops, the floodwaters linger like trapped pools. One local rescue worker described it perfectly. "We pump the water out, and a few hours later, it's back again, like there's an invisible river pushing up from beneath our feet." Since early September, Baise City has been hit hard. So far, at least 3 people have died, 1 person is still missing, and thousands of acres of farmland have been swallowed by muddy water. Whole neighborhoods now look like small lakes. Ironically, some younger residents have been seen swimming in the floodwaters, treating it like a temporary pool, but officials are warning everyone to stay out. The water is filthy and contaminated, carrying bacteria, trash, and even dead animals. Locals say there's a constant musty, moldy smell, and the floodwater feels toxic. One resident shared over the phone, "Our kids try to laugh and play, but we're scared. The rain's over, yet the water won't leave. It's just stuck here." Hydrology experts say this is a direct result of the region's limestone foundation. Guangxi is full of natural caves and underground waterways, and when rain falls faster than the ground can absorb it, that water is forced back upward. The drainage system simply can't cope. A researcher from the Guangxi Meteorological Institute warned that if the situation continues, some areas might end up as permanent water basins. Entire villages could vanish from the map, not because of landslides or raging rivers, but because they're quietly drowned beneath standing water. It's a haunting reminder of past floods in places like Guizhou or Chongqing, where entire communities were forced to move uphill, leaving behind what used to be their homes, now resting underwater forever. In southern China, the city of Baise is still in crisis mode. Crews are working non-stop to pump out floodwaters and find a way to redirect the overflow downstream, but so far, there's no clear solution in sight. While the south is drowning in water, the north is battling something completely different, a brutal cold wave. In Heilongjiang province, temperatures suddenly dropped by more than 10 degrees Celsius overnight. The sky turned gray, the wind became razor-sharp, and the region woke up to a chilling sight. Photos on social media show thousands of swallows frozen to death, scattered along icy roads. Locals were stunned. Many called it a sign that nature is fighting back. "I stepped outside this morning and saw dozens of birds lying still on the snow," said one resident from the outskirts of Harbin. "They used to fly over my roof every evening, now they're gone." The temperature fell so fast that many migratory birds were trapped mid-journey, unable to escape south before freezing winds struck. According to China's National Weather Service, 2025 has seen some of the most dramatic cold snaps in years, with record-breaking temperature swings. In parts of Xinjiang, the mercury plunged to minus 52 degrees Celsius, the coldest it's been in decades. Climate experts believe this extreme shift is part of a larger pattern, a sign that the East Asian monsoon system is becoming unstable as global climate change throws air currents off balance. For locals in Heilongjiang, the sudden freeze feels almost unreal. Yesterday it was warm, said 67-year-old Zhao Lichang. Today everything's frozen solid. The swallows are gone, the trees are bare, and the elderly are afraid to even step outside. It's like winter arrived in a single night. Across the Northeast, snowstorms hit weeks earlier than usual, blanketing towns and farmland. Social media feeds are filled with images of frozen streets, cars sliding across ice, and entire fields buried under snow. It's a harsh reminder that nature can change its mood in an instant, and humanity is left scrambling to keep up. In parts of China, farmers are facing a harsh reality. An early frost is threatening this year's corn and soybean crops. But that's not the only problem nature has thrown at them. Down in the country's southwest, it's not just water and ice causing trouble. The very ground itself has turned dangerous. In Yunnan province, tragedy struck the Beishan residential area of Hikou County. After days of relentless rain, an entire hillside suddenly gave way, swallowing a multi-story yellow apartment building in seconds. The moment was captured on video. A massive wave of mud and rock crashed down the slope, dust filled the air, and terrified screams echoed everywhere. A local resident described it this way: "We heard a deep rumble, then everything started shaking. When we looked outside, the building was gone. Everyone just ran." Authorities quickly sealed off the area, bringing in rescue teams and heavy machinery to search for survivors. A deep crack, stretching over 250 meters across the hillside, has left experts worried that even more sections could collapse. Geologists explain that the recent weeks of constant rain have soaked the soil and weakened the bedrock beneath. Once the ground reaches full saturation, even a small tremor, from rain, vibration, or shifting groundwater, can trigger disaster. Nearby provinces like Sichuan and Guizhou have also suffered, with multiple landslides blocking highways, damaging bridges, and destroying homes. According to reports, this year's rainy season in Yunnan has been unusually intense, bringing floods, mudslides, and widespread destruction to mountain towns. Experts say the risk is made worse by deforestation and rapid construction on steep slopes. With fewer trees to hold the ground together, the earth becomes unstable, and one heavy downpour can be enough to set off a chain reaction. In southwestern China, nature has once again reminded everyone how fragile life can be, where one storm, one hillside, and one moment can change everything.